G'day, g'day. Welcome again to OMM. Basically, I'm gonna start my Eggplane build for the International Scale Modeler Forum. Yeah, so like I think it's the 6th. Yeah, the 6th today of April. So yeah, I'm starting quite late. This is the Eggplane build that I'm gonna do. It's the Hasagawa Wolf 190, and we're just gonna have a look at it. If I can zoom in a bit, I shall zoom out. So basically in the box, just put in there and get rid of this. And here's the instructions. Yeah, the decals. Yeah, some nice decals there. I mean, I've always liked the Hasagawa decals. Like they're just easy to put on. Very durable, nice and thin. Yeah, well, I should have a few spares there for tanks or whatever later on. You just keep all your decals just for later on. They always come in handy, even if it's just a anything, just something that you don't use. You can stick it on something else, scratch it up. But the instructions look pretty easy. Like I'm used to building models with about 100 steps in it. This one here has 2. So you basically got let's take a look here. Basically just got both halves of the fuselage go together. The engine, there's not much to the engine obviously, it's just a basic little kit. And basically your front, 2 bomb halves, there's your cockpit. Doesn't come with a pilot. Looking at the size of the cockpit space, you're not going to be able to fit much in there. You can get, I have heard that you can get aftermarket parts for the pilot, but I think I'll find something, whether I just go to my bits box and find a head and sculpt something out of it. And bomb halves, you got 2 wings, and they're 1-piece wings each, so you don't have to, you basically just stick them on, don't have to put any 2 halves together, which is kind of good. And what else we got here? So once your bombs go together, glue them underneath your wings. You got your landing gear. The landing gear is pretty basic. Basically your wheels just glue straight on to the landing gear itself. Props all 1 piece. Nose cone's part of the prop. And there's your canopy. So basically so I should have this knocked up, and depending on how well it goes together. I think what's going to take me the most time is doing the pilot. I think I'm just going to whack a head in there. I'm not going to go too fancy over it, especially with... this looks quite good. And it should be actually a fun build. Oh well, we'll get this bag open so we have a look at it. Get out my hobby knife. Hobby knife. Sure. Get rid of that. Yeah. Good old 2 sprues. Plus you get 1 sprue for the cockpit glass. It's actually going to be a pretty fun build, I think. Don't really build planes too often, so I guess this would be a kit to warm me back into it again. I haven't built a plane for a few years now, so I don't know how I'm going to go. Yeah, so now we'll get all the parts off the sprue, we'll get it cleaned up, and we'll see how we go. See you soon, guys. Okay, so we're back. Got the two fuselage halves cut out. I haven't cleaned them up yet. I've still got plastic still on the edges here where I've cut them off because I want to send them back. I don't want to actually cut right up against the plastic just in case I damage it. I'd rather file it back. And after some thought of what I'm actually going to put inside as a pilot, they've got a little tub. That's all it is that comes inside, that goes in. Basically it's going to sit inside there like that. So if you can see that, it just sits in there. So there's really not much detail that's in there, but I'm not too worried about that at this stage. But I was thinking if I can sort of somehow get some wire, I'll get some like thin wire, about like 0.5 wire or something. I can sort of drill a hole in the bottom here. If I can drill a hole in the bottom and then fasten some kind of head. But I was actually going through my Warhammer stuff, and what more perfect to put in a funny subject or a comical subject like this is an orc head. So I was going through my orc looters and burner boys from this kit here. It's one of the older kits, but I've still got heaps of them while they just sit around. Like I said in my introduction video that I do get into my Warhammer miniatures. Don't play, I just paint, just love the hobby. So this is basically what I've got to choose from. You get 5 miniatures in this kit. I'm not going to do a review on this kit because it's not about this, it's about the plane. But there's 5 miniatures in the kit, and out of those 5 you have a selection of 7 heads. So I'm going to be left over with 2, plus I found one in my bits box. There's this one. Whoop. Drop him on the floor, give him a headache. There's that one. And I've got to be smart that I don't put a big one in there because I want it to fit. Just get some light onto this sprue so you can see it probably a bit better. There's those 3, and then there's this one, but I'm not going to use that one because of the tassels on his head. It's just going to be way too big. I've got a few other kits up there that I could use. I thought about putting a Space Marine there, but I think I'll just stick to orcs because they just, I reckon, look pretty funny with an orc flying an Eggplane. And there's those ones there. So I don't know what I'm going to put in there yet. Just going to decide, sort of do a few sort of dodgy pre-test fitting, I guess you could call it, and then we'll see how we go. Once I decide, I'll come back and let you guys know. See you soon, guys. Okay, so this is what we've come up with. I've got the 2 halves glued together. Semi cleaned up. I've still got a bit of sanding to do. I've only just glued this together. I'm just using my that's what I use, just Revell Contact Professional. I just use it. It's got a nice little needle point on it, and this is what we've come up with. So just got the head in there, like it's only loose fitting because I've still got to paint the head, but I'm just trying to test fit, made sure that it all fit inside the cockpit with the glass on. And I can, yeah, so that's the head there. That looks pretty cool. It's got a bit of a pilot look to it. Unfortunately, the head sitting because of his gas or his breathing apparatus on the side of his mask there. If I have it sitting straight on top of the cockpit tub and I put the glass on top, the back of the, you see the back of his head? Yeah, so the back of his head there, it's only because that big dip in the back, because you know that's the way it goes on the model itself, it's where his neck fits, but I'm not too fussed about it. So that the glass doesn't actually fit, but if I turn in like that and just have it just sitting below, the glass does fit. So it's going to be, so as he's flying around, he's got his head just turned to the side as if he's looking out the window or something like that. So that's basically what I've come up with. Got all the wings cut out. They've only just come off the sprue. All I've got left on the sprue tree is 2 wheels, a prop, whatever that is. Not too sure. I haven't looked down it. Ooh. Okay. Just the stopper. But I can get to that from inside. Pair of tweezers. And yeah, so that's basically the stopper. I've got the stopper, bit for the prop, or the spindle for the prop, and two bombs, and that's it. And we'll keep going on this, and as I go along I'll keep coming back. Okay? So we're a little bit further into this build now. Just been playing around with parts out of my bits box. I've got the wings assembled and just sort of test fitting everything. Yeah, so I've got all the join lines wet and dried, sanded down. Got a few gaps under the wings here which I've got to deal with later on. It's only, yeah, like the gaps are only minor, so probably a bit of super glue or something like that, probably a bit of, or might use a Citadel liquid putty, liquid green stuff, whack it in there. And so I'm going to make this, I'm not even going to go with the colour scheme that's on, well I might yet, and haven't really decided on the colour. That's on the colour call out sheet on the back of the instructions. I guess there's going to be a lot of people that are entering in this Eggplane comp. They're just going to stick with the colour scheme or something on the back. So if they're building an F14, it's going to be something that looks like an F14's colour scheme. But just to be different, and I haven't really done anything, so I'm just going to go out of my comfort zone and turn this into more of a real orky Warhammer 40,000 style Messerschmitt. So that's going through my bits box. Just got to put something away. Yeah. So going through my bits box, I found some just some skulls that I'm going to stick on there. Got twin linked heavy bolter that I'm going to stick on the front, so somehow I'm going to mount it on the front when it wants to focus. Oh. So I might actually pin it in there and then glue it down, because I don't want this coming out later on. Whether I bog the actual original holes for the original machine guns on the front here. I mean, yeah, I guess in the Warhammer world they're not going to do anything. Yeah, so they're not going to do anything. You're basically just using a pea shooter shooting at armour. So, and any of you people out that do actually sort of follow the Warhammer sort of thing, orcs like to modify their gear, captured equipment. I mean, anything. They could have gone, if it does exist, I guess they could go back in time, or wherever they acquired this Eggplane. Yeah, they're gonna modify it. So I found a lot of scrap plastic card in my bits box. I'm just gonna chop it up and sort of patch like these. I haven't even cut these up yet. I've just found these. I'm just gonna like sort of add patches on the plane. Found these as well in the bits box. Actually, don't even know what they are, but I'm just gonna stick them. If I can get this to focus. Yeah, I'm just going to stick these on around the front of the plane. Yeah, going to keep the prop original. Might put a few little patches around there. I'm just going to make it look really orky, and yeah. So that's pretty much what I've decided. I hope it all works. This could either be a success and look really cool, or it could turn into an absolute fail. But I guess that's part of modelling. It's all experimenting, having fun. That's it. You got to have fun. If you're not having fun, it sort of takes. It's not really modelling. So I've got the bombs. I'm going to glue them together. The only things I haven't cut off yet are the wheels, but everything else is off the sprue. I've got the head mounted on with his wire base or mounting pin. Just got it chucked in a cork. And that's pretty much it. There's not much to this kit except for, yeah, that's why I've decided to add more things to it. I mean, it's such a quick build. I want to actually have some fun with it, detailing it. So we'll see how we go. I'm just going to play around with it for a few hours and see what we come up with. Yeah, coming back a little bit early. Instead of bogging this thing, I think I'm going to get the Dremel out. With basically it's the small grinding tip. I'm just going to use a diamond tip here, like it's not going to hurt it, plastic. But I'm just going to have this on as a Dremel stylus, variable speed. But I'm just going to give it a go. On number 4, goes from 2 to 10, or 1 to 10 I should say. So if I go to 4, don't want it too high, otherwise I'm going to melt the plastic. So we're just going to carefully grind out the guns that are in this. We just have a cavity. And then we're trying not to go too deep. Major's going slow, so going slow, so I don't take too much, because I don't want to punch a hole through the top. Just sort of take away some more. Stop. Okay, out of pure laziness, I couldn't have been bothered setting up the other Dremel, so we just got my little metal hand file, pointed file. So I'm nearly done, so I didn't see the point of getting out the other one, setting it up. The other battery was just a bit flat, I think, so I just put it on charge. So we're just using the file, and we're just filing away. So you just want to take out, you just want to take the guns out of it. So what you want, you're taking the guns out of it, so you're just left with a dent in there. I think I might just paint those black, make it look like they're some kind of vents. Might probably add some detail around it, might glue some wire around the edge just to give it a bit of definition or something. Okay, so what we're going to do, so grab some, what am I going to use? Use my dulled down blade or my seam line remover. It's in one of my other videos. It's just a old blade, and I've just gotten just a flat file, metal file, something like that, and I've just filed down the blade. It's just, yeah, it's pretty blunt, so it's not going to cut me or anything. It saves me from going out forking out some cash just to buy a tool just for the job, or I can just make it myself. Does the same thing. Yeah, don't be afraid to sort of jimmy up your own tools. Like, you don't always have to go out and buy that specific tool when you can make it yourself and it does exactly the same thing. So just be careful when you are cutting down, when you are filing down the blade. Yeah, because you can cut yourself, but once you've got it all filed down, yeah, just make sure you file like the tip as well. Like, you want to file down that tip so it's not pointed and sharp, it's just slightly rounded. Same with the bottom here. But once you do that, it's a good little tool. I like using it. You have to use this thing a lot. That's pretty much it. So we'll get our sandpaper, and just get an old paintbrush, wrap the sandpaper around the end, and just give it a quick smooth down. Doesn't matter if the water's dirty in there. Bit of paint in there, it's not going to hurt. Just want a bit of water on there. Bit of water on the wet and dry sandpaper. Don't be so rough when you're sanding it, then shut the water, sort of lubricating the sandpaper on the plastic. And you don't get all the dust either. Water sort of traps all the powder. Sand, and you've sanded it off. That's done. Remember the paper towel. Take off some of the water. So look at it. That looks pretty darn good. So just give you a look. What I've done is, when it wants to focus, there we go. Yeah, so we've taken out the machine guns, and then that makes room for this to go in here. So looking from the front, it's gonna look something like that. Yeah, might just pre-drill the holes for the gun, paint this, like I'm going to prime it, get the pins ready, because if I glue it on now and then I try and go to paint it later, it's just going to be almost impossible to get. Where is it? Yeah, it's going to be almost impossible. I can just get this to focus again. Come on, kid. Alright, if I get it, yeah, it's going to be almost impossible to get in there with all the detail. And that way I can just pre-shade this nose so that it forms a shadow from this weapon, this bolt on the top. Yeah, so just going to start chopping up some plastic card and start sticking it on, and I dare say I'll be back to show you what I've done. See you soon, guys. Middle of just cutting up some plastic card, making some patches. So it looks like he's, you know, a few bullet hole patches or just whatever. We've just cut various sizes, like they're not all exactly the same. Just yeah, they're just all random sizes. Oh, come on. Yeah, so I'm just drilling some holes just to replicate. Well, there's screws and things holding the plate onto the plane, and I'm just trying to randomly put them in places. Like I'm going to put one on the back here, but it's not going to be as big. Or I mean, you don't have to cut squares, you can cut rectangles and whatever you want. But I'm actually thinking of putting this on the side somewhere. I don't want it too uniform on there. I don't want, like, you know, all symmetrical and stuff. So I'm just sort of moving this thing around. I might just go with 3, I think. So I might just stick him down the bottom there. That looks pretty cool. So what we'll do, we'll just get some plastic cement. You don't want a little bit, I mean you don't want too much, because once you put that plastic coat on the outside, it's just going to flatten it out and spread out. Like, you don't want it oozing out all over the plane, so just move it around a bit. General rule, less is better. You can always put more on later. And so plastic cement too, so give you a bit of time for the other surface to melt a bit. Put this back on. Just push it down. Give time for the plastic card to soften up a bit. This will take time for it to stick, because the stiffness of the plastic card, and you're trying to put this on a curved surface, so she's not just going to stick on like, so you are going to have to hold this for a little bit. Yeah, so sort of boring you guys to death, I'm just going to cut it here, and once I've got it all glued down and held together, I'll come back. See you in a minute. So after a few hours of playing around, we've gotten this plane to a stage where I'm kind of happy with it. I haven't put too much there, like I don't want to go overboard with the patches, and yeah, like I still want it to look like a Fokker Wolf. I don't want it to look like a complete, you know, Warhammer plane, but I give it a bit of an orky look. Yeah, got on. I'm going to call this bloke Harold. So yeah, Harold's head's on the cork. Got the prop all sanded down. Got the bombs assembled and sanded. Got two of those. The wheels are cut off and cleaned up. And got all the. Actually got the heavy bolt, or the what do you call it? Heavy bolter. All pinned up. And all the holes are drilled in here, so basically that just sits there like that. The cockpit tubs sitting there, the holes drilled out for Harold's head to sit in there. So basically now we're just going to prime it and find any flaws that are in the paint job, if they're in the construction stage, and if there are, going to let this paint dry for 24 hours and do some more sanding. So I'm just gonna chuck this on pause, prep the airbrush, and we'll start priming, eh? Alright, so got the air compressor started up. Just gonna chuck a little bit of thinner what's under here and spray a bit out. Take this cap off it. Put it half the cup. With the layers, polyurethane, black primer. With a good old trusty stirring stick. As always, spraying around 20-25 psi. Just keep spraying until the paint starts coming out. And straight away I just want to get some paint in here. Misty cake first so the primer can hook onto it, otherwise it will start running everywhere.